Welcome to the family Homo Nesher Ramla. A new type of prehistoric human was discovered recently in Israel. And I think this is extremely exciting. And researchers think this could be the ancestor of the Neanderthals. And so let's read a little bit about this from the BBC. So the BBC says that a new type of ancient human was discovered in Israel. Researchers working in Israel have identified a previously unknown type of ancient human that lived alongside our species more than 100,000 years ago. They believe the remains uncovered near the city of Ramla represent one of the last survivors of a very ancient human group. So right now, of course, we know about Homo sapiens, Neanderthals, Denisovans, etc. And this is a completely new species called Homo Nesher Ramla, because it was found in Ramla, I guess. The find consists of a partial skull and jaw from an individual who lived between 140,000 and 120,000 years ago. And details of the study have been published in the journal Science. The team members think that the individual descended from an earlier species that may have spread out of the region hundreds of thousands of years ago and given rise to Neanderthals in Europe and their equivalents in Asia. So before this species was discovered, we thought that Neanderthals originated somewhere else, and now we think they might have originated in the Middle East, specifically in that area of Israel or somewhere near there, which I think is really fascinating. And, with this evolutionary tree that we're kind of uncovering, I think we've stopped thinking about human evolution as a straight line a long time ago. It's not really a tree that has like a straight line and some branches. It's more like a bush with a lot of different little leaves, and it's very complex compared to what we used to think. And so there were a lot of species of humans probably living even at the same time as each other and also not. So I think we're starting to discover more about our family tree, and I think it's really, really exciting. And so this could be one more little branch or leaf or shoot of that evolutionary tree of human beings. And it's very interesting to think about the fact that there used to be a lot of different species of human beings, and that somehow now we're the last ones left, whether we had a big influence on which human species survived or not. It would be interesting to go back and meet someone from a different species of human. I think it would be really cool, and maybe even more interesting than, let's say, meeting an extraterrestrial, because we're probably going to be a lot more similar to these other species of humans. So I'd like to go back and talk to one, if they had language, I'm not sure, and just kind of see what they thought about the world. And I'm curious about their experience of life and what it was like to be a Denisovan or a Neanderthal or a member of this Homo Nesher Ramla species. I think that would be super interesting. And in China, they also recently discovered what might also be a new species of human, or it might just be a Denisovan. And there's a little bit of disagreement between the study authors and other scientists about this right now. It's a fairly new presentation of what those scientists have learned, but I want to take a deeper look at that as well. So let's look at this next story, and it's related to this discovery in Israel, but it's also very separate because this was from China. And so in Israel, we discovered a new species of human. That's extremely exciting. Welcome to the family. Happy to have you. Hopefully we'll learn more about you in the future. And then if we go over to another BBC article from recent times, they say scientists hail stunning Dragon Man discovery. And they go on to say that Chinese researchers have unveiled an ancient skull that could belong to a completely new species of human. The team has claimed it is our closest evolutionary relative among known species of ancient human, such as Neanderthals and Homo erectus. So in China, this skull also represents what might be our closest relative that we have uncovered so far. And that's also really exciting. So these are two recent discoveries about our human family tree that I think are extremely exciting. Nicknamed Dragon Man, the specimen represents a human group that lived in East Asia at least 146,000 years ago. It was found at Harbin, northeast China, in 1933, but only came to the attention of scientists more recently. And actually, the story of how this skull was kind of uncovered is really interesting, so let's talk about that for a second. The skull was reportedly discovered in 1933 by a construction worker helping to build a bridge on the Songhua River running through Harbin in Heilongjiang province, which translated means Black Dragon River, hence the new human's name. The city was under Japanese occupation at the time. Suspecting its cultural value, the Chinese worker smuggled it home to keep it out of the hands of occupiers. He hid it at the bottom of his family's well, where it remained for around 80 years. So one farmer discovered it in 1933, and then it was hiding in his well for 80 years before any scientists got a crack at it. The man told his family about the skull before he died, which is how it eventually got into the hands of scientists. So I think the story behind how this skull was uncovered is just as interesting as what it actually found. And now let's talk about that. So basically, this says an analysis of the skull has been published in the journal The Innovation. One of the UK's leading experts in human evolution, Professor Chris Stringer from London's Natural History Museum, was a member of the research team. In terms of fossils in the last million years, this is one of the most important yet discovered, he told BBC News. What you have here is a separate branch of humanity that is not on its way to becoming Homo sapiens, which is our species, but represents a long separate lineage which evolved in the region for several 100,000 years and eventually went extinct. So he's saying this is most likely a completely separate species of human that lived and evolved for a long time and then went extinct. Not everyone agrees with that, however. If you keep reading here, the researchers of this study say the discovery has the potential to rewrite the story of human evolution. Their analysis suggests that it is more closely related to Homo sapiens than it is to Neanderthals. So the fossil found in Israel is probably an ancestor or the ancestor of Neanderthals. This one is more related to us than it is to Neanderthals. They've assigned the specimen to a new species, Homo Longi, from the Chinese word long, meaning dragon. We found our long-lost sister lineage, said Zhijun Ni, a professor at the Chinese Academy of Sciences and Hebei Geo University in Shijiazhuang. He told BBC News, I said, oh my gosh, I could not believe that it was so well preserved. You can see the details. It is really an amazing find. And so the researchers that were studying this skull think it's a completely new species of human that's more closely related to us than it is to Neanderthals. However, other scientists are saying, hold on, not so fast. We're not sure if it's another species or not. It could be Denisovan. So let's read about that. It says, Dragon Man joins a number of early human remains uncovered in China that have proven difficult to categorize. These include remains from Dali, Jinushan, Gualangdong, and the Zhihai Jabon from the Tibetan Plateau. There has been a fierce debate about whether these remains represent primitive examples of Homo sapiens, Neanderthals, a human group called the Denisovans, or something else entirely. The Denisovans were first identified from DNA retrieved from a 50,000 to 30,000-year-old finger bone discovered in the Denisova cave in Russia. Because the remains associated with this sister lineage to the Neanderthals were so fragmentary, the group has been described as a genome in search of a fossil record. Professor Marta Mirazon-Lar from the University of Cambridge believes that Dragon Man was in fact a Denisovan. The Denisovans are this fascinating mystery population from the past. There is a suggestion from DNA evidence that the jawbone found in the Tibetan Plateau might be a Denisovan, she said. And now, because the jawbone from Tibet and the Dragon Man look like each other, now we might actually have the first face of a Denisovan. So there's not agreement on whether this is a new species or a Denisovan or something else yet, but nonetheless, it's exciting. And one last thing I want to leave you with. BBC News says that this skull is huge compared with the average skulls belonging to other human species. Its brain was comparable in size to those from our species. So Dragon Man had large, almost square eye sockets, thick brow ridges, a wide mouth, and oversized teeth. So it wasn't exactly like us. And if you look at this thing here comparing human skulls, it's really interesting to see those kind of square eye sockets on this potentially new species of human. So to Homo Longi, I'm not sure if I can say welcome to the family yet, but you would look really cool with certain kinds of like Oakley sunglasses that fit that square frame a little bit better. So I think that modern fashion might suit you nicely. If you're talking about oversized sunglasses, I think that works with their eye sockets, which is pretty cool. And I just wanted to say welcome to the family. to Homo Nesher Ramla, because there was one human species discovered, possibly even two recently, and I can't wait to see what we find out about these potential new species of humans next. And to you, my fellow modern human, and I don't know if we should use that phrase modern human anymore. Maybe it's offensive to all these other species of humans, and maybe they're just as modern as us. Maybe you could teach them how to fly a plane if they lived right now. I'm not sure. But either way, my fellow Homo sapien, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one as well. I post a new video every single morning at 7 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. So please join me if you like talking about topics like this. And either way, I'm Jim Wolf, and I'll talk to you later.